Okay. So why, first of all, let me tell you, am I audible clearly to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, first of all, why the name has
Yes, ma'am.
been good? Why the name has been given Punnett Square? Because the scientist who discovered this Punnett Square is named as Reginald C. Punnett. This is a spelling mistake here. The spelling is Reginald. Reginald C. Punnett. Since he discovered this graphical representation, and why this graphical representation is used to calculate the probability of all possible genotypes of the offsprings in a genetic cross. So while you do a genetic cross, you get so many offsprings, and to write down the possible genotypes of those offsprings graphically in a table, and to find out the probability of those possible genotypes of the offspring, it becomes very easier when you represent those in a Punnett square. So all the possible genes, the combinations in a cross of the parents whose genes are known, it is easier for us to predict through a Punnett square. How it is done? The possible gametes, male and female gametes, are written on the two sides. That is here capital T. See, here you can see capital T is written. These are the gametes. Then you can mention over here the parents. Suppose this is male and this is the female. That means these two are the female gametes, these are the male gametes. So first you have to write down the gametes on both sides, usually on the top row and the top column. Then all possible combinations will be represented in those boxes. Okay, so here I can write capital T, small t, again capital T, small t, capital T, small t, and capital T, small t. Is not it? Which will give you both the genotype as well as the phenotype. Looking into the genotype, can I write the phenotype? Yes or no? Am I correct? Yes? Okay. So, if a short question comes carrying 1 mark, what do you mean by Punnett square? What is its significance? What you will write? It is a graphical representation to calculate the probability of all possible genotypes of offsprings in a genetic cross. Now, what is its significance? Significance is you can predict all the possible gene combinations in a cross of the parents. This one you can write. Then this point also you can write that the possible gametes are written on two sides, usually on the top row and the left column. All possible combinations are represented in boxes below in the squares, which generates a square output form representing the phenotypes as well as the genotypes. And this was discovered by Reginald C. Punnett. So as per his name, it has been named as Punnett square. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are the cross which we already have discussed. The first one comes the monohybrid cross. So already I told you what is the definition of monohybrid cross, and you can see here written it is a cross made between how many individuals? Always two individuals, because in a sexual reproduction you know two parents are involved. So we will take only two individuals into account of the same species, remember. Considering the inheritance of the contrasting pair of how many characters? Single character is taken in a monohybrid cross. Okay. So simply you remember it is a cross between two individuals where a single character is considered. This much is called monohybrid cross. Example is height of the plant, that is tall and dwarf. These are the two traits. By choosing those two traits, that is dominant and recessive, you can solve the monohybrid cross, and we already did the monohybrid cross getting the phenotypic ratio to be the 3:1 and genotypic ratio 1:2:1. Now next, in a monohybrid cross, what is this monohybrid actually? The hybrid comes from the heterozygous in which generation? Who will tell me the heterozygous you find in which generation? The first generation or the second generation? The heterozygous offspring you get in which generation? The first generation or the second generation? Or in both the generations? Means I'm asking
Both the
only. Good. Both
The
the
generation.
good. The answer
Both.
is correct. Both the generation. But when I say only heterozygous, you will find in which generation? Only heterozygous and nothing else you will find. That is only will be in the F1, the first generation. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this hybrid here stands for the F1 generation where you get a heterozygous. But mono means, remember, always a single character. Now let's study about, already we have discussed about dihybrid cross, and the definition here written, you can see it is a cross made between two individuals of a species considering the inheritance of contrasting pair of traits. This contrasting pair here means what? Two characters. You simply remember dihybrid cross is a cross between two individuals in which two characters are considered. Now suppose what can be those two characters? Color of the seed and shape of the seed. So what we have chosen here? Yellow round, yellow for color, round for the shape. Similarly, green for the color, wrinkle for the shape. These two are the recessive traits. These two are the dominant traits. Even in the dihybrid also, in the cross, in the first generation only, the heterozygous trait you will find over there. The allele or the genotype is like this. For this example, it will be like this: capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, where all the plants will have yellow seeds and round shaped seeds. Yellow colored seeds and round shaped seeds. Is it clear to all? Did
Yes, ma'am.
everyone followed?
Yes.
Okay. So come to the next part. I don't know why always Somendra joins the biology class. I don't understand. Just a minute. Okay, he left. So today also very few students have joined. Okay, now here comes the test cross. So what is a test cross? See here, what is a test cross? It is here the definition is written. Test cross, remember, always comes as a 3 marks question. It is a cross between an individual of unknown genotype or a heterozygote with a homozygous recessive individual. Why it is done to test the heterozygosity? Once again, I repeat, it is a cross between an individual of unknown genotype. Why it is called an unknown genotype? Now, suppose you will tell me the answer. I'm asking the question. Listen to me very carefully. My question is, when I say the plant is tall, tell me the possible genotypes of this tallness. What shall I write? For tall, what genotype I shall write? Quickly tell. Anybody unmute and speak.
Capital D, capital D, capital D, small d.
Very good. Very good. I think it is Jasmine, if I'm not wrong. Yes?
Ma'am, Bonsika.
Bonsika, good. So capital T, capital T, small t. These all denote that the plant is tall. These are the possible genotypes. These are the possible genotypes, and this is the phenotype. Now, when I say the plant is dwarf, what will be your answer for the genotypes? When I say the plant is dwarf, what will be the
Small
possible
t, small t.
genotype? It will be
Small t,
only,
small t.
it will be only small t or anything else.
Only small to small.
Good. It will be only small t, is not it? That means for the dwarf, which is the recessive trait, always you will find that it is always expressed In which condition? What shall I write? In which condition? This is which condition? Okay,
What?
small t is which condition? Who will tell? Recessive trait is always expressed in which condition?
Homozygous condition.
Homozygous condition.
Good. It is always homozygous condition. But on the other hand, if you look at the dominant trait, that is, for example, here we have taken tall. So both of these are expressed in which form? One is expressed in which form? That means this one, tell me, capital T, small t is expressed in which form? Sorry, capital T is expressed in which form, and capital T, small t is expressed in which form? What shall I write?
Capital T capital is homozygous and capital T small
Always
t is
say
heterozygous.
homozygous dominant. Why I am telling you will tell homozygous dominant? Because one is homozygous recessive also. So say here homozygous dominant. And when you mean heterozygous, only dominant heterozygous is possible. There is no case of heterozygous recessive. So that you can say heterozygous. But always in dominant case, you will always say homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this much you understood. Now what I have to test? Suppose I will tell you. Now look at here this example, you will understand. Okay. So here already it is written here that this is a flower. This is a cross in the flower color, that is purple. You know it to be the dominant trait and white is to be the recessive trait. So the dominant phenotype, when I say phenotype, for now tell me what will be the answer. Listen to the question carefully. When I say what will be the dominant phenotype of flower color, what will be your answer? What will be the dominant phenotype for flower color?
Violet.
Good.
Violet.
Very good. It is the violet. Or say, we can also write purple. Clear? Now, in this purple or violet, okay, what can be the possible genotypes? Who will tell? Consider for purple. What will be the possible genotypes? 2 or it will be more than 2?
2.
2. Good. What will be the answer? What will be the 2
Capital
possible?
P, capital P, capital P, small p.
Good. Capital P, small p, capital P, and capital P, small p. Just a second. Okay. So when I know that I have a dominant phenotype, I can have 2 possible genotypes. One is homozygous dominant, one is heterozygous dominant. So for purple, one will be capital P, another is capital P, small p. But how can I confirm which is? Means out of both, how can I confirm? For this confirmation, I have to do the test cross. Could you follow now why test cross will be done? When I say I have a dominant phenotype, there are 2 possibilities. What are the 2 possibilities? I can have homozygous allele pair. I can have heterozygous allele pair. But which one is the correct one? To know that, I have to do the test cross. That is why it is written, it is a cross between an individual of unknown genotype. So what I know? The genotype is unknown. But what is known to me? Who will tell? What is known to me?
Phenotype.
Good. Is this Vishnu Priya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, appreciate that. Though you were not there in the last year, but this year you are doing well. But see what will happen in the exam. Good. So, could you follow now? I do not know the genotype, but I know the phenotype. And I know that this phenotype is dominant or recessive. This phenotype is dominant or recessive?
Dominant.
Dominant.
Good. So the phenotype is dominant. So for this, now I have to confirm, because the genotype is unknown, I have to confirm the genotype. Already I know the phenotype which is dominant, but in dominant I have two cases. One is homozygous and another is heterozygous. So to confirm this, which should be the correct genotype, I have to do the test cross. So how will I do the test cross? It is a cross between an individual where you know the dominant phenotype, but you do not know its genotype. Then what you will do? You will cross it with the homozygous recessive parent. So let's see how it is crossed with the homozygous recessive parent and how we can reach that which will be the appropriate genotype. Whether capital P, in this case I'm telling, or capital P, small p. Am I clear to everyone? Could you just guess what we are right now, what we will do? You got an idea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let us assume first, we know we have dominant phenotype. So from that we can assume I can have capital P for purple or capital P small p. So let's perform, or what I shall do now, I have to do test cross. Suppose I have taken the first case to be, what I can write, the first case. So I will cross capital P, which is also dominant phenotype, with a recessive parent. Recessive parent means, sorry, not small t, small p, small p. So you can see here the cross is done over here. Suppose this is the male parent with dominant phenotype capital P are the alleles and the respective gametes you can see written here. This is suppose the female parent with small p means the recessive I have taken. So after I do this cross, what I will get? With a combination of capital P small p, capital P small p, capital P small p and capital P small p. Am I correct? So all offsprings are purple. All offsprings will be purple, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And you find it what? 100%. Can I say 100% of the flowers are purple? Am I correct or am I
Yes,
wrong?
ma'am.
Can I say 100% of the
Yes,
flowers
ma'am.
are purple? Yes, because all these I get to be purple. So when I will see that all my offsprings are purple, all the flowers are purple, 100% purple, then I will confirm that it is the unknown genotype of the parent is what? Homozygous dominant. Now could you follow? If I get 100%
Yes, ma'am.
means this unknown parent, see this is a question mark. So this unknown parent was what? Capital P, capital P. See, this is an assumption, then you are proving. You are assuming capital P, no doubt. But then when you get 100%, your assumption is 100% correct. That yes, as I got all the flowers to be purple, so that I had assumed capital P is correct. Now let us assume if the unknown genotype is capital P small p, that is heterozygous or heterozygous. So what will happen? Again I will do the cross, write down the gametes male and female. This is capital P small p here. It is heterozygous I have taken, so capital P small p, and I will cross with the recessive parent, because test cross is always crossed with a recessive parent. So recessive with small p, suppose it is a female parent. Now what shall you get over here? What are you getting? Tell me what you will get. See the table and tell me what are your results. Is it same as the first case?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, this is
No,
my
ma'am.
second case. So what is the result? Let's see. This is capital P small p purple. This is small p white. That is again capital P small p purple, and this is white, small p. So these two become white, whereas these two become, I'm writing purple. In short, I'm writing PUR, purple. That means, can I say 50% of the offsprings are purple? Rest 50% of the flowers, can I say, are white? Can I say like this? Am I correct or am I wrong?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means
Yes, ma'am.
half of the offsprings are white, half of the offsprings are purple. Therefore, the conclusion will be the unknown flower was heterozygous. Could you follow? See, already I
Yes, ma'am.
said this is my assumption. Assumption, I'm taking one to be homozygous dominant. When I'm crossing it with the heterozygous parent, I'm seeing that all my flowers are purple. Since all are purple, I come to a conclusion that it should be homozygous dominant parent. When I get half of the offspring to be white and half to be purple, then I will say that this unknown genotype of the parent is heterozygous. So these two alternatives or these two cases are done in a test cross. Did you got my point? Everyone could follow,
Yes, ma'am.
yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is
Yes,
important here? What is very, very important here? Let me tell you to remember. This is the conclusion part. You will have to remember for alternative 2, alternative 1, or here you can also write case 1 and case 2. Okay. And the next thing what you have to remember is the cross. Cross is very easy. Once you understand monohybrid cross means this cross will be nothing for you. You can do it. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so join once again just so that I will explain again, because Bansika is having doubt. We have to, means less than 1 minute is left. Join once again, please.